The phone rang at exactly 3:17 a.m., shattering the silence of Ava Thompson's small apartment in Gangnam. She groaned, her hand fumbling across the nightstand in the darkness, knocking over an empty coffee mug before finally grasping her phone. The screen's harsh light burned her eyes as she squinted at the unknown Korean number flashing across the display. Taehyun. It had to be him. Again. Her ex-boyfriend had been calling from different numbers for 3 weeks straight, ever since she'd caught him with that Instagram model in their bed. The bed she'd helped him pick out. The bed where he'd promised her forever. Rage flooded through her veins, hot and immediate, burning away any remnants of sleep. She didn't even check the caller ID properly. She just answered, her voice dripping with venom that had been building for weeks. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Do you know what time it is? I told you to stop calling me. We're done. Done. I don't care about your apologies, I don't care about your excuses, and I sure as hell don't care that you're drunk and lonely at 3 in the morning. You cheated on me, remember? With that wannabe influencer who can't even spell her own brand name. So here's what's going to happen, you pathetic excuse for a man. You're going to delete my number. You're going to crawl back into whatever hole you came from. And if you ever call me again, I swear to God, I'm going to show up at your mother's house and tell her exactly what kind of son she raised. Are we crystal clear? She was breathing hard now, her heart pounding, her free hand clenched into a fist. The silence on the other end should have been her first clue. Taehyun never stayed quiet. He always had an excuse, always had something to say, always whined and pleaded and promised to change. But this silence was different. Heavy. Controlled. Dangerous. Hello, Ava said, her anger faltering as uncertainty crept in like cold water down her spine. Then a voice responded. Deep. Smooth. Speaking in accented English that wrapped around each word with deliberate precision. Are you finished? Every cell in Ava's body went on high alert. That wasn't Taehyun's voice. This voice belonged to someone else entirely. Someone who commanded attention without raising his volume. Someone who made the air itself feel thicker. I'm so sorry, Ava stammered, sitting up straight in bed, suddenly very awake. I thought you were someone else. I didn't mean. Your ex-boyfriend, the man interrupted, his tone carrying a hint of something that might have been amusement. Taehyun, the one who cheated on you with an Instagram model who can't spell her own brand name. Ava's blood turned to ice. How do you know his name? Who is this? You have quite the mouth on you, the stranger continued, completely ignoring her questions. Most people who speak to me that way don't live long enough to regret it. Terror gripped her throat. I'm sorry. Please, I really thought you were my ex. This was just a mistake. Don't apologize. His voice dropped lower, each word deliberate and measured. I liked it. The fire. The complete disrespect. The way you didn't hesitate to tear into someone you thought deserved it. It's refreshing. Who are you? Ava demanded, trying to sound braver than she felt. Someone you just called a pathetic excuse for a man who should crawl into a hole and die, he said, and she could hear the smile in his voice now. Dark. Intrigued. Though I've been called worse by people far less interesting than you. This isn't funny. I'm hanging up. No, you're not. 2 words. Just 2 words, but the command in them stopped her thumb from pressing the red button. She hated that it worked. Hated that something in his voice made her obey without thinking. What do you want? She whispered, her hand trembling around the phone. Your name. Why? Because I'd like to know who just verbally destroyed me at 3 in the morning. A pause. And because I'm going to find you anyway. This just makes it more polite. Before he could say another word, Ava pressed end call and threw her phone across the bed like it had burned her. Her heart was hammering so hard she could hear it in her ears. She wrapped her arms around herself, suddenly aware of how thin her tank top was, how vulnerable she felt in her own apartment. Wrong number. It was just a wrong number. Some random stranger who happened to call at the exact moment she was expecting Taehyun. That's all it was. There was no reason to panic. No reason to think this was anything more than an unfortunate coincidence. Except something in his voice had promised otherwise. Something in the way he'd said he would find her anyway, like it wasn't a threat but a simple statement of fact. Ava didn't sleep for the rest of the night. Across the city, in a penthouse office on the 50th floor of Seoul's most expensive building, Park Ji-soo stared at his phone with an expression his second-in-command had never seen before. Sung-ho had worked for Ji-soo for 8 years. He'd seen his boss negotiate billion-won deals without blinking. He'd seen him order executions with the same tone most people use to order coffee. He'd seen him face down rival families, corrupt politicians, and federal investigators with nothing but ice in his veins. He had never seen Park Ji-soo smile like this. Like he'd just discovered something precious. Something rare. Something he wanted to possess. Boss? Sung-ho ventured carefully, his hand instinctively moving toward the weapon holstered beneath his jacket. Was that Prosecutor Kim? Did he agree to drop the investigation? Wrong number, Ji-soo said, still staring at his phone. His smile widened. I dialed 1 digit off. Called some woman instead. Sung-ho relaxed slightly. Should I have the number traced? For security purposes, in case. Yes. Trace it. Ji-soo set his phone down on the massive desk, his fingers drumming once against the polished surface. But not for security. Sir, I want to know everything about her. Ji-soo stood, moving to the floor-to-ceiling windows that offered a panoramic view of Seoul's glittering skyline. Name, age, where she works, where she lives, who she is. Everything. With respect, boss, we have the prosecutor's situation to handle. The Kim family is expecting a response by Sung-ho. Ji-soo's voice dropped to that dangerous quiet that made grown men flinch. Did I stutter? No, sir. I'll have the information within the hour. Good. Ji-soo's reflection in the glass showed that unsettling smile still playing at his lips. She thought I was her ex-boyfriend. Called me pathetic. Told me to crawl into a hole and die. She didn't hesitate. Didn't hold back. Just unleashed everything she'd been holding in. Sung-ho wisely remained silent, though his confusion must have shown on his face. When was the last time someone spoke to me like that? Ji-soo asked, not expecting an answer. When was the last time someone wasn't afraid? Boss, when we find her, what do you want us to? When we find her, Ji-soo interrupted, turning away from the window to face his second-in-command directly. I'm going to make her mine. The words hung in the air between them, heavy with intent. Sung-ho had seen his boss acquire many things over the years. Businesses, territory, loyalty. But he'd never heard that particular tone in Ji-soo's voice before. That mixture of fascination and determination that suggested this wasn't just about wanting something. This was about needing it. If you're hooked on Ava and Ji-soo's story, hit that subscribe button. And comment below, have you ever answered the wrong number? Because for Ava, this mistake is about to change everything. Within 90 minutes, Sung-ho returned with a tablet containing everything Park Ji-soo wanted to know. He set it on the desk with the careful precision of someone handling explosives. Ava Thompson, 28 years old, American. Born in Atlanta, Georgia. Graduated from Emory University with a degree in marketing. Moved to Seoul 18 months ago for a position at Lumiere Cosmetics as a senior marketing consultant. Lives alone in an apartment in Gangnam, near the Sinsa station. No family in Korea. Mother still lives in Atlanta, works as a school teacher. Father unknown, not listed on birth certificate. Ji-soo scrolled through the photographs. Ava at a company dinner, laughing at something her colleague was saying. Ava leaving her apartment building in the morning, travel mug in hand, her natural hair pulled back in a high puff. Ava at a volunteer event, teaching English to underprivileged children, her smile genuine and warm. In every photo, she commanded attention without trying. Tall, confident, beautiful in a way that made his chest tighten unexpectedly. Continue, Ji-soo said, unable to look away from an image of her in a red dress at what appeared to be a company event. Ex-boyfriend is Kim Tae-hyun, corporate lawyer at Young & Associates. They dated for 11 months. Relationship ended 8 weeks ago when she discovered him with another woman. She filed a harassment report with the police 3 weeks ago. 27 calls from different numbers, all traced back to him. Report is sitting on Detective Park's desk, marked low priority. Of course it is. Ji-soo's jaw tightened. Detective Park was on the Kim family's payroll. What else? She has a best friend, Min Seo Choi, Korean-American, works as a designer for the same company. They have dinner together twice a week. Ava volunteers at Sunshine Community Center every Thursday evening. She takes the subway to work, stops at the same coffee shop every morning, orders an iced Americano with an extra shot. No outstanding debts. Sends money to her mother monthly. Clean record. No connection to any criminal organizations or rival families. She's perfect, Jisoo murmured, more to himself than to Sung-ho. Boss, if I may speak freely? Jisoo nodded without looking up from the tablet. She's a civilian. An American civilian. Getting involved with her could complicate things with the family. With Mr. Choi. With our operations. And if the Kim family discovers you have an interest in her, then we make sure they don't discover it. Jisoo finally looked up, his expression hardening. Double her security detail. I want eyes on her 24/7. She doesn't take a breath without us knowing about it. And Sung-ho? If her ex-boyfriend calls her again, I want to know immediately. Yes, sir. One more thing. Get me her phone number. The correct one this time. Sung-ho hesitated. Are you planning to call her again? Jisoo's smile was slow and predatory. Oh, I'm planning much more than that. Ava stumbled through her morning routine like a zombie. The reflection staring back at her from the bathroom mirror looked exhausted, dark circles prominent under her brown eyes, her usually glowing skin dull from lack of sleep. She'd managed maybe an hour of broken rest before her alarm went off, and that hour had been filled with dreams of deep voices and promises wrapped in threats. Get it together, she muttered to herself, splashing cold water on her face. It was just a wrong number. Some random guy. You'll never hear from him again. But even as she said it, she didn't believe it. Something about the certainty in his voice when he'd said he would find her anyway. The way he'd commanded her not to hang up and she'd obeyed without thinking. The interest in his tone when he'd said he liked her fire. She dressed quickly in a navy blazer and white blouse, paired with jeans, her standard work casual uniform. Her hair went up in a high bun, her makeup minimal but professional. By the time she grabbed her bag and headed out the door, she'd almost convinced herself that the pre-dawn phone call had been nothing more than a bizarre blip in an otherwise normal life. The coffee shop on the corner of her street was already buzzing with the morning crowd. Ava joined the line, scrolling through her work emails on her phone, trying to focus on the product launch presentation she had to give later that day. She was so absorbed in reading the latest sales figures that she didn't notice the black Genesis G90 parked across the street or the man inside taking photographs with a telephoto lens. Iced Americano with an extra shot for Ava, the barista called out. She grabbed her coffee, took that first blessed sip, and felt slightly more human. The subway was packed as always, bodies pressed together in the morning commute ritual. Ava found a spot near the door, holding her coffee carefully while checking her phone for messages. 3 missed calls from unknown numbers. Her stomach dropped. She stared at the notification, her thumb hovering over the call log. It couldn't be him. It was probably Taehyun using new numbers again, or spam calls, or literally anything else besides the mysterious stranger from last night. Her phone buzzed in her hand. Another unknown number. She watched it ring once, twice, 3 times. Let it go to voicemail. Immediately, it rang again. Same number. Against every instinct screaming at her to ignore it, Ava answered. She pressed the phone to her ear but said nothing, waiting. Good morning, Ava. That voice. Deep and smooth and completely unmistakable. Her heart kicked into overdrive. How did you get my number? She demanded, keeping her voice low so the other subway passengers wouldn't overhear. The same way I got your full name, your address, and the fact that you're currently on the subway heading to Gangnam Station, about to get off in 3 stops. Ava's blood turned to ice. She spun around, scanning the crowded car, looking for anyone paying too much attention to her. Are you following me? Not personally, no. I'm currently in my office, 47 floors above the city, looking at a very interesting file about you. This is insane. This is illegal. I'm hanging up and calling the police. And telling them what? His tone was maddeningly calm. That a man called you? That he knows publicly available information about you? Detective Park will take your report, add it to the pile next to your harassment complaint about Taehyun, and do absolutely nothing. How do you know about that? But even as she asked, she already knew the answer. He'd done his research. Thorough research. The kind that went beyond a simple Google search. I know a lot of things, Ava. I know you take your coffee with an extra shot because you survive on 4 hours of sleep most nights. I know you volunteer every Thursday because you believe in giving back. I know you send half your paycheck to your mother in Atlanta to help with her mortgage. I know your ex-boyfriend has called you 27 times from different numbers because he can't accept that he lost the best thing that ever happened to him. The subway slowed, approaching her stop. Ava shouldered her way toward the doors, phone still pressed to her ear, pulse racing. "What do you want from me?" she asked, stepping onto the platform as the doors opened. "Have dinner with me." She stopped walking so abruptly that someone behind her bumped into her shoulder. "What?" "Dinner. Tonight. I want to apologize properly for frightening you." "You want to apologize for stalking me by asking me on a date? Are you hearing yourself right now?" "I'm hearing a woman who's intrigued despite her better judgment." His voice dropped lower, intimate. "Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me you haven't been thinking about me since last night. Tell me you're not curious about who I am, what I want, why I called you in the first place." Ava wanted to lie. Wanted to tell him she'd forgotten all about him the moment she hung up. But something in his tone suggested he'd know the lie immediately. "One dinner," she finally said, hating how breathless she sounded. "Public place. You explain who you are and what you want, and then you leave me alone. Deal." "There's just one condition." "Of course there is. Your ex-boyfriend problem. Let me fix it." Ava climbed the stairs from the subway, emerging onto the busy Gangnam Street. "What does that mean, fix it?" "It means after tonight, Kim Tae-hyun will never call you again. Never bother you again. Never even think about you again without remembering why that would be a very bad idea. I don't need a man to fight my battles. I know you don't. You're perfectly capable of handling yourself. That's what makes you interesting." He paused. "But let me do this anyway. Consider it payment for disturbing your sleep. And if I say no to dinner? Then I'll fix your problem anyway, because the thought of you being harassed keeps me from focusing on my work. But I'd much prefer to see you again. To hear that fire in your voice when you're looking at me instead of yelling into a phone." Ava reached the entrance to her office building. Through the glass doors, she could see the lobby, familiar and safe. She could walk inside, block this number, and pretend none of this ever happened. Or she could lean into the insanity. Just once. Just to satisfy the curiosity burning in her chest. "Text me the address," she said. 7 o'clock. "And this is not a date. This is a business meeting." His low chuckle sent shivers down her spine. "Whatever you need to tell yourself, Ava. I'll see you tonight." He hung up before she could respond. Ava stood on the sidewalk, staring at her phone, wondering what she'd just agreed to. Inside the lobby, sitting in one of the waiting area chairs with a bouquet of roses, was Tae-hyun. He stood when he saw her, his expression a mixture of hope and desperation that made her stomach turn. "Ava, please, just let me explain." Her phone buzzed. A text from the unknown number. "Turn around and walk away from the lobby. Now." She looked up at the street, scanning for security cameras, for cars, for any sign of who was watching. Another text. "Trust me." Against all logic, Ava turned and walked back toward the subway entrance. Behind her, she heard Tae-hyun calling her name, his footsteps following. Then other footsteps, heavier, faster. Raised voices. A commotion. She glanced back. 2 men in dark suits had intercepted Tae-hyun. One was speaking to him in rapid Korean, showing him something on a phone. Tae-hyun's face went white. He dropped the flowers. The men escorted him away from the building, their grips firm on his arms. Ava's phone rang. She answered without thinking. "Go to work, Ava. You're safe now." What did they tell him? The truth. That you're under my protection now. And that I don't share. The possessiveness in his tone should have terrified her. Instead, it made her pulse quicken in a way she didn't want to examine. "I didn't agree to be under anyone's protection. You agreed to dinner. Everything else is just details we'll negotiate later." She could hear the smile in his voice. 7 o'clock. "Don't be late." He hung up again, leaving her standing on a Seoul sidewalk, coffee growing cold in her hand, her entire world tilting on its axis. If this story is making your heart race, smash that like button. And drop a comment. What would you do if a mysterious stranger did this to you? Run or stay? Ava made it to her desk on autopilot, her mind replaying the morning's events on an endless loop. She barely registered her colleague's cheerful good morning or the stack of reports waiting for her review. All she could see was Taehyun's terrified face as those men escorted him away. All she could hear was that voice, smooth and dangerous, telling her she was under his protection now. Earth to Ava. Minaseo appeared at her desk, coffee in hand, her eyebrows raised in concern. You look like you've seen a ghost. Rough night. You have no idea, Ava muttered, logging into her computer with shaking fingers. Taehyun drama again? Minaseo perched on the edge of her desk, her expression shifting to protective anger. I swear, if he showed up at your apartment. No, not exactly. It's complicated. Complicated how? Minaseo's eyes narrowed. Ava, what happened? Before Ava could figure out how to explain any of it, her phone buzzed. A text from the unknown number, except now there was a name attached. Jisoo. Just that. No last name. No explanation. The message contained an address in Gangnam, one of Seoul's most exclusive neighborhoods, and a simple instruction. Wear something green. It brings out your eyes. Minaseo leaned over, reading the message upside down. Her mouth fell open. Who is Jisoo? And why is he texting you like you're already dating? I met him. Sort of. Last night. By accident. Ava quickly explained the wrong number call, leaving out the more terrifying details like the stalking and the men who'd grabbed Taehyun. Even the edited version sounded insane. Wait, let me get this straight. Minaseo held up her hand. Some random Korean guy calls you at 3 a.m. by mistake. You think it's Taehyun and completely tear into him. And now this stranger wants to take you to dinner. When you say it like that, it sounds crazy. Because it is crazy. Minaseo grabbed Ava's phone, scrolling through the messages. Ava, this is how horror movies start. Mysterious stranger, obsessive behavior, knowing where you are. I know. Believe me, I know. But there's something about him. Ava struggled to put it into words. When he talks, it's like he sees me. Really sees me. Not the professional mask I wear or the strong independent woman act. He sees the parts one keep hidden. That's called manipulation, babe. Maybe. Probably. Ava took her phone back. But I need to know who he is. What he wants. Why a simple wrong number turned into this. Minaseo studied her friend's face for a long moment. You're going to meet him tonight no matter what I say, aren't you? Yeah. Then I'm tracking your location. And you're texting me every 30 minutes. And if I don't hear from you by 9 p.m., I'm calling every police station in Seoul. Minaseo's voice was fierce. I'm serious, Ava. Promise me. I promise. But even as Ava made the promise, she wondered if the police could do anything against a man who'd made Taehyun disappear with a single phone call. What kind of power did Jisoo have? What world did he operate in where men in suits appeared on command and harassment reports sat ignored on detectives' desks because he wanted them there? The rest of the workday passed in a blur. Ava went through the motions of her presentation, responded to emails, attended meetings, but her mind was elsewhere. She kept checking her phone, expecting more messages from Jisoo, but nothing came. Just that single text with the address and the instruction about wearing green. At 5 p.m., she left work early, claiming a headache that wasn't entirely a lie. The tension building in her shoulders had spread to her temples, a steady throb that matched her heartbeat. Back at her apartment, she stood in front of her closet, staring at her limited selection of dresses. Green. He wanted her to wear green. She should wear red just to spite him. Or black. Or show up in jeans and a t-shirt to prove she didn't care about his preferences. Instead, she found herself pulling out an emerald wrap dress she'd bought on impulse 6 months ago and never worn. It hugged her curves, the color rich and vibrant against her skin. She paired it with simple gold jewelry and let her hair down in its natural curl pattern, the volume framing her face. Looking at herself in the mirror, Ava barely recognized the woman staring back. Her eyes were bright with anticipation despite her fear. Her cheeks flushed. She looked like someone about to walk into danger with her eyes wide open. This is stupid, she told her reflection. Monumentally, catastrophically stupid. Her reflection didn't argue. At 6:45, she called for a taxi, ignoring the voice in her head that sounded suspiciously like Minaseo screaming about stranger danger. The address Jisoo had sent was for a restaurant called Mingles, a name Ava recognized from articles about Seoul's most expensive dining experiences. Reservations there had a 6-month waiting list. Meals cost more than her monthly rent. The taxi pulled up to an elegant building in Cheongdam-dong, all glass and steel and understated luxury. A man in a suit stood by the entrance, and as Ava approached, he bowed slightly. "Miss Thompson, Mr. Park is expecting you. Please follow me." Her stomach flipped. Mr. Park. So Jisoo had a last name. Park Jisoo. She filed the information away, planning to Google him the moment she had a chance. The interior of Mingles was stunning, all warm wood and soft lighting, each table positioned for maximum privacy. But the host didn't lead her to the main dining room. Instead, he guided her down a corridor to a private room at the back, opening the door with another bow before disappearing. The room was intimate, a single table set for two with candles flickering in the center. And standing by the window, looking out over the Seoul skyline, was the most devastatingly handsome man Ava had ever seen. Park Jisoo turned as she entered, and the impact of his full attention nearly staggered her. He was tall, easily 6 feet, with broad shoulders emphasized by a perfectly tailored black suit. His face was all sharp angles and strong lines, dark eyes that seemed to catalog every detail of her appearance in a single sweep. His hair was styled back, revealing a face that belonged on magazine covers, except there was something dangerous in his expression that no model could replicate. Ava. Her name on his lips sent electricity down her spine. He moved toward her with predatory grace, and she forced herself to stand her ground. "You wore green. You're very demanding for someone I don't know." His smile was slow, appreciative. "And you're very defiant for someone who came anyway." He gestured to the table. "Please sit." "I'll stand, thanks. Let's get something straight right now." Ava crossed her arms, channeling every ounce of confidence she could muster. "This is not a date. This is you explaining who you are, what you want, and why you think it's acceptable to stalk women and make their ex-boyfriends disappear." "Fair enough." Jisoo leaned against the windowsill, completely relaxed despite her hostility. "I'm Park Jisoo. I'm 35 years old. I run several businesses in Seoul, primarily import-export, real estate, and investment portfolios. I inherited the family business when my father was killed 8 years ago. As for what I want, that's simple. I want you." The directness of it stole her breath. "You don't even know me." "I know enough. I know you moved to Seoul 18 months ago to escape a life that felt too small. I know you send money to your mother every month even though it means you eat ramen for dinner half the week. I know you volunteer with children because your own father abandoned you and you don't want any child to feel unwanted. I know you stayed with Taehyun longer than you should have because you confused stability with love." He took a step closer. "And I know that when you answered my call last night and unleashed all that fire, I felt something I haven't felt in years. Alive. Intrigued. Captivated. That's insane. You're insane. One phone call and you're obsessed." "Yes." No hesitation. No shame. Completely. Irrationally. Obsessed. Ava's heart was racing now, her palms sweaty. She should leave. Should walk out of this room and never look back. But her feet wouldn't move. "The businesses you run. Import-export. That's code for something, isn't it?" Jisoo's expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes. "Respect, maybe. You're intelligent. I appreciate that. Are you in the Mafia?" The term Mafia is very Western. Very dramatic. He poured 2 glasses of wine from a bottle on the table, offering her one. "But yes, my family has connections to organizations that operate outside legal boundaries. We facilitate transactions, provide protection, maintain order in places where the law is ineffective. You're a criminal." The words should have sent her running. Instead, they explained everything. The power to make harassment reports disappear. The men in suits who'd grabbed Taehyun. The way Jisoo spoke with absolute certainty about getting what he wanted. "I prefer to think of myself as a businessman operating in a complex market." He set the wine glass down when she didn't take it. "Does that frighten you?" "Terrifies me." "Good. Fear means you're smart. It means you understand the reality of who I am." He moved closer, close enough that she could smell his cologne, something expensive with notes of sandalwood. "But you're still here. Still standing in this room with me. Still looking at me like you're trying to solve a puzzle." I want to understand why. Ava's voice came out softer than she intended. Why me? You could have anyone. Women who know your world. Women who wouldn't question you or challenge you or call you a pathetic excuse for a man. Jisoo's laugh was genuine, transforming his face from dangerously handsome to absolutely beautiful. That's exactly why. Do you know how many people are afraid to speak honestly to me? How many conversations I have where every word is calculated, every response designed to please or manipulate. And then you, thinking I was your worthless ex-boyfriend, just completely destroyed me without hesitation. You didn't hold back, didn't soften your words. You were raw and real and furious. He reached out slowly, giving her time to move away, and tucked a curl behind her ear. I've spent 8 years surrounded by people who treat me like a weapon they're afraid to touch. And then you touched me with words like fire, and I remembered what it felt like to burn. His thumb brushed her cheekbone, and Ava's breath caught. She should step back, should maintain distance. But her body had other ideas, swaying toward him like a flame drawn to oxygen. This is a terrible idea, she whispered. The worst, he agreed, his voice rough. I'm dangerous, Ava. My world is violent and unforgiving. People close to me become targets. Loving me is a risk most people aren't willing to take. Who said anything about love? This is just dinner. Is it? His eyes searched hers. Then why are you still here? Why didn't you block my number and forget I existed? Because she couldn't. Because even knowing what he was, even understanding the danger, something in her recognized something in him. Two people who'd learned to survive by building walls, suddenly faced with someone who saw through them. Sit with me, Jisoo said softly. Have dinner. Let me show you that I'm not just the monster you think I am. And if I still want to leave after, then I'll let you go. I'll disappear from your life completely. You have my word. He held out his hand. But give me tonight. Give us this one chance. Ava looked at his hand, extended between them like a bridge over dangerous waters. Every rational part of her brain screamed to run. But the irrational part, the part that had moved to Seoul on a whim and answered a phone call at 3 a.m. without checking the number, that part whispered something different. What if? She took his hand. His fingers closed around hers, warm and sure, and she knew with absolute certainty that she'd just made a choice she couldn't take back. One dinner, she said firmly. And you answer my questions honestly. Anything you want to know. They sat across from each other as servers appeared with food Ava hadn't ordered, dishes that looked like art pieces. Jisoo watched her with unwavering focus, like she was the only thing in the world that mattered. Tell me about Taehyun this morning, Ava said, picking up her chopsticks. What did your men say to him? The truth. That you're under my protection. That if he contacts you again, there will be consequences. And that I have evidence of several illegal activities he's been involved in that would interest the prosecutor's office. Jisoo's expression hardened. He won't bother you again. You framed him. I didn't have to frame him. He actually is guilty of embezzlement and drug possession. I simply made sure the right people became aware of it. He took a sip of wine. Consider it a gift. A gift. Ava shook her head, torn between horror and gratitude. You destroy a man's life and call it a gift. He made you cry. He made you doubt yourself. He wasted 11 months of your life with his lies. Jisoo's voice was cold now. He's lucky I stopped at ruining his career. The possessiveness should have scared her. Instead, it made her feel something she hadn't felt in a long time. Protected. Valued. Like someone finally saw her worth and was willing to defend it. The realization terrified her more than anything else that night. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what happens next. Because when Ava realizes she's falling for a dangerous man, everything changes. Drop a comment, would you give Jisoo a chance? Let's discuss. They ate in comfortable silence for a while, the tension between them shifting from confrontational to something else entirely. Something charged and inevitable. Ava found herself relaxing despite everything, drawn in by the way Jisoo listened when she spoke, really listened, like every word mattered. Tell me about your father, Jisoo said, refilling her wine glass. Your file said he wasn't listed on your birth certificate. That's a personal question for a business meeting, Ava countered, but without real heat. You said I could ask anything. She sighed, setting down her chopsticks. I never met him. My mom got pregnant at 19, he disappeared before I was born. She raised me alone, worked 3 jobs to keep us afloat. She's the strongest person I know. That's where you get it from. The strength. The refusal to back down. Maybe. Or maybe I just learned early that no one was coming to save me, so I better save myself. Ava met his eyes across the table. What about your father? You said he was killed. Jisoo's expression went carefully blank. Assassinated. By a rival family during what was supposed to be a peace negotiation. I was 27, working in legitimate business, trying to distance myself from the family operations. His death pulled me back in. You didn't want this life. No. I wanted to be an architect, actually. Design buildings instead of running criminal enterprises. A ghost of a smile crossed his face. But when your father dies and leaves you responsible for 300 employees, 2,000 street soldiers, and operations spanning 6 countries, you don't get to choose your dreams anymore. That sounds lonely. It is. The admission seemed to surprise him as much as it did her. I have Sung-ho, my second in command. A few trusted advisors. But real connection? People who see me as Jisoo instead of the Park family heir? That's been rare. Is that why you called me? Because I didn't know who you were. Partly. But mostly because you made me laugh. He leaned forward, his eyes intense. Do you know how long it's been since someone made me genuinely laugh? Since I felt something other than obligation and calculated strategy. Until some random American woman verbally destroyed you at 3 in the morning. Exactly. His smile was devastating. You reminded me I was human. That underneath all this, he gestured at himself, the expensive suit, the private room, the world of power he inhabited, there's still a man who wants simple things. Laughter. Connection. Someone to come home to. Ava's heart clenched. She'd come here expecting a monster and found a man instead. A dangerous man, yes, but one carrying the weight of choices he never wanted to make. This is dangerous for both of us, she said quietly. I know. Your world, my world, they don't mix. I'm an American civilian. You're Korean Mafia royalty. There are 1,000 reasons this can't work. I know that too. Jisoo reached across the table, his hand covering hers. But I'm willing to risk it if you are. Before Ava could respond, his phone buzzed. He glanced at it, his expression darkening instantly. Excuse me for a moment. I need to take this. He stepped into the hallway, his voice dropping to rapid Korean. Ava couldn't understand the words, but she heard the tone. Cold. Commanding. Lethal. This was the other Jisoo, the one who ran criminal operations and made people disappear. She pulled out her own phone, quickly typing his name into the search bar. The results made her blood run cold. Park Jisoo, heir to the Park family empire. Suspected connections to organized crime. Multiple investigations, no convictions. A photo from 3 years ago at a charity gala, Jisoo in a tuxedo looking bored beside a beautiful Korean woman identified as his ex-fiancée. Ava clicked on an article. Park Jisoo's engagement to Song Min-ah ended abruptly 2 years ago following an incident the family declined to comment on. Sources suggest Miss Song was killed by a rival organization, though her death was officially ruled a car accident. Her hands shook as she read. His fiancée had died because of his world. Because loving him made her a target. Jisoo returned, his expression carefully controlled, but she could see the tension in his shoulders. I apologize for the interruption. Your fiancée. Song Min-ah. She was killed, wasn't she? He froze, something dangerous flashing in his eyes. You've been researching me. You researched me first. Extensively. Ava stood, needing distance. She died because of you. Because someone wanted to hurt you through her. Yes. The single word carried years of pain. The Kang family wanted to send a message. They cut her brake lines, made it look like an accident. She was 26 years old, planning our wedding, completely innocent. His voice cracked slightly. I swore I'd never let anyone close again. Never give my enemies another target. But here you are. With me. Here I am, he agreed, moving toward her slowly. Breaking my own rules because I can't seem to help myself. Jisoo, I can't be her. I can't be the woman who dies because she loved you. You won't. His hands framed her face, his touch gentle despite the intensity in his eyes. Min-ah died because I was careless. Young. Underestimated my enemies. I've spent 2 years making sure that could never happen again. The Park family is stronger now. more powerful. No one touches what's mine without consequences. What's yours? Ava repeated, her heart racing. Is that what I am? From the moment you answered that call, yes. No hesitation. No doubt. I know it's insane. I know it's too fast. But I've spent 8 years in control of everything, calculating every move, and then you happened and I just knew. The way you know the sun will rise. The way you know fire burns. I knew you were supposed to be mine. That's not how life works, Jisoo. You can't just claim people. Watch me. He kissed her then, cutting off her protest, his lips firm and demanding against hers. Ava's brain screamed at her to push him away, to run, to protect herself. But her body had different ideas, melting into him, her hands fisting in his suit jacket as she kissed him back with equal intensity. The kiss was electric, desperate, filled with all the tension that had been building since that first phone call. Jisoo's hands slid down her back, pulling her flesh against him, and Ava gasped against his mouth, overwhelmed by the feel of him, solid and real and dangerous. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Jisoo rested his forehead against hers. Come home with me. Not for anything you're not ready for. Just to talk. To be together without the world watching. Every rational thought Ava had left told her to say no. To call a taxi, go home, block his number, and forget this ever happened. But rationality had abandoned her somewhere between the wrong number call and this kiss that felt like a promise. Okay, she whispered. But just to talk. His smile was triumphant. Just to talk. The ride to Jisoo's penthouse was torture. They sat in the back of his Genesis G90, not touching, the air between them crackling with unspoken desire. Ava kept her hands folded in her lap, staring out the window at Seoul's glittering lights, trying to process how her life had spiraled so completely out of control in less than 24 hours. Regret it yet? Jisoo asked, his voice low and intimate in the darkness. Ask me in the morning. I plan to. The promise in those words made her pulse skip. When they pulled up to a sleek high-rise in Gangnam, a doorman rushed to open their door. The lobby was all marble and gold, dripping with wealth that made Ava's modest apartment look like a shoebox. How many floors? She asked as they stepped into a private elevator. 50. We're going to the top. Of course they were. Jisoo's penthouse occupied the entire 50th floor, and when the elevator doors opened directly into his living space, Ava's breath caught. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a panoramic view of Seoul, the city sprawling beneath them like a carpet of lights. The interior was minimalist luxury, all clean lines and expensive furniture, artwork on the walls that probably cost more than she'd make in her lifetime. This is where you live? She moved to the windows, pressing her hand against the glass. It's beautiful. It's empty. Jisoo came up behind her, close enough that she could feel his body heat. I've lived here for 6 years and it's never felt like home. Just another place to work, to exist. But having you here, it's different. You make it feel alive. Ava turned to face him, trapped between his body and the window. Jisoo, I need to tell you something. His expression was serious now. After Minna died, I investigated everyone involved. Found the men who cut her brakes, the Kang family members who gave the order, everyone who played even a small part. Do you know what I did to them? Her throat went dry. What? Everything you're imagining and worse. I didn't just kill them, Ava. I destroyed them. Their families. Their businesses. Everything they'd built. I made sure the Kang family would never forget what happens when they take something from me. His hand came up to cup her face. I'm telling you this because you need to understand who I am. What I'm capable of. I'm not a good man pretending to be bad. I'm a bad man who's trying very hard to be good for you. Why are you telling me this? Because I want you to choose me with open eyes. Not because you don't know what I am, but because you know exactly what I am and choose me anyway. His thumb brushed her lips. I will protect you with everything I have. I will cherish you, worship you, give you anything you want. But I will also destroy anyone who tries to take you from me. That's the package deal, Ava. All of me, darkness included. She should be horrified. Should be running for the elevator. Instead, she found herself asking, what if I can't handle that darkness? Then I let you go. And I spend the rest of my life remembering what it felt like to hold the sun. He stepped back, giving her space. Your room is down that hall, Second door on the right. It has a lock. You can use it. Or you can come to my room, first door on the left. No pressure. No expectations. Just proximity. Ava walked down the hall on shaking legs, finding the guest room exactly where he said. It was stunning, decorated in soft grays and whites, a massive bed with crisp linens, an ensuite bathroom with a soaking tub. Everything she could possibly need, including a closet filled with clothes in her exact size. She changed into the silk pajamas she found folded on the bed, washed her face, and stood staring at her reflection in the bathroom mirror. 24 hours ago, she'd been Ava Thompson, marketing consultant, living a small, quiet life in Seoul. Now she was standing in a Mafia boss's penthouse, wearing pajamas he'd bought for her, contemplating whether to lock her door or walk down the hall to his room. The smart choice was obvious. Lock the door. Get some sleep. Figure out in the morning how to extricate herself from this situation with her heart intact. But Ava had never been good at making smart choices. She opened her door and padded down the hall in bare feet. Jisoo's door was ajar, light spilling into the hallway. She pushed it open slowly. He was standing by his own window, wearing only black silk pajama pants, his back to her. The tattoo she'd glimpsed earlier was fully visible now, a massive phoenix rising across his shoulder blades in intricate detail, flames licking down his spine. Rebirth, she said softly, and he turned. You came. Just to talk, she reminded him, but her voice lacked conviction. Just to talk, he agreed, holding out his hand. She crossed the room and took it, letting him guide her to the massive bed. They lay on top of the covers, facing each other in the dim light, not touching, but close enough to feel each other's breath. Tell me something true, Ava whispered. Something you've never told anyone else. Jisoo was quiet for a long moment. I'm tired. Not physically, but soul-deep tired. Tired of being in control. Tired of making decisions that determine whether people live or die. Tired of being alone in rooms full of people. His eyes met hers. Until you. When I'm with you, I don't feel tired. I feel awake. I'm scared, Ava confessed. Scared of what I feel when I'm with you. Scared of how fast this is happening. Scared that if I let myself fall, there's no coming back. Then fall with me. His hand found hers in the space between them. I'll catch you. I promise. They talked for hours, sharing secrets in the darkness. Ava told him about her childhood, about feeling different in America, about coming to Korea to find a place where being different might mean something else. Jisoo told her about his mother, who died of cancer when he was 15, about the weight of expectations he'd carried his whole life, about the loneliness of power. Somewhere around 3 a.m., Ava's eyes grew heavy. She felt Jisoo shift closer, his arm wrapping around her waist, pulling her against his chest. Sleep, he murmured against her hair. I've got you. And for the first time in months, Ava slept without nightmares, protected by the most dangerous man in Seoul. Are you Team Jisoo yet? Because I am. Hit that like button if you're falling for this dangerous love story. And comment below, do you think Ava should trust him? Let me know your thoughts. Ava woke to sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows and the unfamiliar weight of an arm draped across her waist. For a disoriented moment, she forgot where she was. Then reality crashed back. Jisoo's penthouse. His bed. His body curved protectively around hers, his breath warm against her neck. She should move. Should put distance between them before this got more complicated. But his embrace felt safe in a way nothing had in years, and she found herself sinking back into it, just for a moment longer. You're awake, Jisoo murmured, his voice rough with sleep. Did you rest well? Better than I have in months, Ava admitted, then tensed. We just slept, right? I didn't. We just slept. His arm tightened around her. Though I'd be lying if I said I didn't want more. But I meant what I said. No pressure. Ava turned in his arms to face him. In the morning light, with his hair mussed and his defenses down, Jisoo looked younger. Less dangerous. Almost vulnerable. I need to go home, she said. Get ready for work. My presentation is at 10. Call in sick. I can't just call in sick because a mafia boss wants me to stay in bed with him. His smile was wicked. Why not? I own 40% of your company. Consider it executive privilege. Ava sat up abruptly. You own what? Lumiere Cosmetics. I acquired shares 2 years ago as part of a diversification strategy. He stretched, completely unbothered by her shock. Technically, I'm on the board of directors, though I rarely attend meetings. So you're my boss? Indirectly, yes. Does that bother you? Everything about this situation should bother me. Ava climbed out of bed, needing physical distance to think clearly. This is insane, Jisoo. 24 hours ago, I didn't know you existed. Now I'm waking up in your bed, finding out you own my company, wearing pajamas you bought for me without asking. I know. He sat up, the sheets pooling around his waist, his chest bare and distracting. I'm moving too fast. Pushing too hard. It's what I do when I want something. I strategize and execute without considering that people aren't business deals to be closed. Then slow down. Ava wrapped her arms around herself. Give me space to breathe. To figure out what I feel without you orchestrating everything. Pain flickered across his face, quickly masked. Of course. I'll have my driver take you home. No surveillance, no guards, no interference. Complete freedom. Thank you. But Ava... He stood, crossing to her with that predatory grace. Freedom doesn't mean I'm giving up. It just means I'm giving you room to choose me on your own terms. He was close now, close enough to kiss, and Ava's resolve wavered. What if I don't choose you? Then I'll respect that decision. His hand came up to cup her cheek. But I don't think that's what will happen. Because you feel this too. This pull between us. This inevitability. He was right, and that terrified her more than anything. She did feel it. Had felt it from that first phone call, that first surge of connection with a stranger's voice in the dark. I need time, she whispered. Take all the time you need. He kissed her forehead, gentle and reverent. I'll be here when you're ready. The drive home was silent, Ava lost in thought as Soul passed by outside the car window. Jisoo's driver dropped her at her building without comment, and she rode the elevator up to her apartment feeling like she'd lived 3 lifetimes in the past 24 hours. Her phone buzzed the moment she unlocked her door. Min Seo, calling for the 3rd time that morning. Oh my god, you're alive, Min Seo burst out the moment Ava answered. I've been freaking out. You stopped responding to texts at 8 p.m. and I almost called the police. I'm fine. I'm sorry. My phone died and I didn't have a charger. The lie came easily, but guilt twisted in Ava's stomach. Where were you? Are you okay? Did he hurt you? No, he didn't hurt me. We just talked. And then I fell asleep at his place. Ava sank onto her couch, exhausted. Min Seo, I think I'm in trouble. What kind of trouble? The falling for a dangerous man kind of trouble. Min Seo was silent for a beat. Okay, I'm coming over. We're talking about this face to face. Don't move. 30 minutes later, Min Seo arrived with coffee and pastries, her expression a mixture of concern and curiosity. They sat on Ava's small couch while Ava told her everything. The wrong number call. The research Jisoo had done. The dinner. The penthouse. His confession about his dead fiancé. His promise to protect her. So let me get this straight, Min Seo said when Ava finished. This man is literally Korean Mafia. His last girlfriend was murdered. He's admitted to killing people. And you spent the night at his place? When you say it like that, it sounds terrible. Because it is terrible, Ava. This isn't some romance novel. This is real life, and in real life, women who get involved with men like this end up hurt. Or worse. I know. Trust me, I know. Ava buried her face in her hands. But there's something about him, Min Seo. When he looks at me, it's like he sees everything. All the parts one hide. All the walls I've built. And instead of being scared off, he just wants to know more. That's called love bombing. Manipulation. Making you feel special so you'll overlook the red flags. Maybe. But what if it's not? What if he's just as broken as I am, and we found each other at exactly the right moment? Min Seo grabbed Ava's hands. Listen to me. I love you. You're my best friend. And I'm terrified that you're going to get hurt. This man has power and money and apparently no qualms about using violence. If you get in too deep and want out, he might not let you go. He said he would. He said if I can't handle his world, he'll let me walk away. And you believe him? Ava met her friend's eyes. Yeah, I do. Min Seo sighed. Then I can't stop you. But promise me something. Keep me updated. Don't disappear into his world completely. And the absolute moment you feel unsafe, you call me. We'll figure out how to get you out. I promise. After Minesio left, Ava tried to focus on work, reviewing her presentation notes, responding to emails. But her mind kept drifting back to Jisoo. The way he'd held her while she slept. The vulnerability in his eyes when he'd talked about being tired. The gentleness in his touch despite the violence he was capable of. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number, but she knew who it was before she even opened it. I meant what I said about giving you space. But I also meant what I said about not giving up. So here's my compromise. I'm sending you flowers. Not because I'm trying to manipulate you, but because you deserve beautiful things. And because I'm thinking about you every moment you're not here. 5 minutes later, her doorbell rang. A delivery man stood outside with the most stunning arrangement Ava had ever seen. White orchids and birds of paradise, exotic and elegant, the card simply reading, from someone who can't stop thinking about your smile. Jay. She set them on her kitchen counter, their beauty at odds with the modest surroundings of her apartment. Then she pulled out her laptop and did what she should have done from the beginning. Real research on Park Jisoo. What she found painted a complicated picture. News articles about the Park family's legitimate business holdings, real estate developments, investment portfolios. But also whispers and rumors in forums and blogs. Connections to organized crime. Money laundering investigations that went nowhere. A pattern of witnesses and rivals who disappeared or suddenly became cooperative. And photos. Jisoo at charity galas, always in expensive suits, always looking bored or detached. Jisoo with his father, before the assassination, the older man's hand on his shoulder. Jisoo with Song Min-ah, his dead fiancé, the only photos where he looked genuinely happy. Ava stared at that last set of photos for a long time. Min-ah had been beautiful, delicate, everything Ava wasn't. And she died because loving Jisoo made her a target. Could Ava really risk that? Could she walk into a relationship knowing it might end in tragedy? Her phone rang. Not a text this time, but an actual call. Jisoo's name on the screen. She answered. Hi. Hi. His voice wrapped around her like silk. I know I said I'd give you space, but I needed to hear your voice. Is that okay? Yeah, it's okay. Did you get the flowers? They're beautiful. Thank you. Not as beautiful as you. A pause. I'm not good at this, Ava. The waiting. The uncertainty. In my world, when I want something, I take it. But with you, I'm trying to be different. Trying to let you come to me on your own. I appreciate that. But I need you to know something. I meant every word last night. About wanting you. About protecting you. About being willing to change my world to fit you in it. His voice dropped lower. I know you're scared. I know you have every reason to run. But I'm asking you not to. I'm asking you to give us a real chance. Ava's heart hammered. Jisoo. You don't have to answer now. Just think about it. He paused. I have to go handle some business today. Nothing dangerous, just meetings. But I want to see you tonight. Will you have dinner with me again? I don't know if that's a good idea. Please. The single word held such raw need that it broke something in her chest. Let me feed you. Let me show you that I can be normal. That we can have regular moments together, not just intensity and drama. Against her better judgment, Ava found herself saying, okay. But somewhere casual. Not another Michelin-starred restaurant. Deal. I'll pick you up at 7. Wear whatever you want, I don't care. I just want to see you. After they hung up, Ava sat staring at her phone, wondering when she'd lost control of this situation. Or if she'd ever had control to begin with. Maybe from that first moment she'd answered his call, her fate had been sealed. The day dragged. Ava went through the motions at work, gave her presentation to lukewarm applause, avoided Minesio's concerned glances across the office. All she could think about was 7 p.m. About seeing Jisoo again. About the way her body came alive in his presence. At 6:30, she changed into jeans and a simple black top, leaving her hair natural, her makeup minimal. If he wanted casual, she'd give him casual. No more dressing up to please him. But when she looked in the mirror, she couldn't help adding lipstick. Red. Bold. Defiant. Jisoo arrived exactly at 7, but instead of sending his driver, he came to her door himself. When she opened it, He stood there in jeans and a black t-shirt, looking unfairly handsome and somehow more dangerous without the expensive suits. "Hi," he said, his eyes traveling over her with clear appreciation. "You look perfect." "I look normal." "Same thing." He held out his hand. "Ready?" She took it, and electricity sparked between them. They drove in his car, just the two of them without a driver, to a small Korean barbecue place in Hongdae. The kind of restaurant Ava went to with Min SEO, cramped and loud and filled with college students. "This okay?" Jisoo asked as they slid into a booth. "It's perfect, actually." "How did you find it?" I asked Sungho where normal people go on dates. His smile was self-deprecating. "Apparently, I've been out of touch with normal for a while." They ordered soju and meat, and as they cooked food on the small grill between them, something shifted. The intensity from the night before softened into something easier. They talked about small things. Favorite movies. Childhood memories. The awkwardness of learning a new language. "Do you miss America?" Jisoo asked, pouring them both another shot of soju. "Sometimes. I miss my mom. Miss certain foods. But Korea feels like home now in a way Atlanta never did." Ava flipped the meat on the grill. "What about you? Do you ever wish you could leave? Start over somewhere else?" "Every day." His honesty surprised her. "But I can't. Too many people depend on me. Too many obligations. The Park family empire isn't something you just walk away from." "What if you could? If you had no obligations, no family business, what would you do?" He was quiet for a moment, considering. "I'd design buildings. Beautiful things that last. Create instead of destroy." His eyes met hers. "And I'd find someone to share it with. Someone real. Someone who challenges me. Someone like me? Exactly like you." They ate and drank and laughed, and for a few hours, Ava could almost forget who Jisoo really was. Could almost imagine they were just two normal people falling for each other in the messy, complicated way people do. After dinner, they walked through Hongdae's busy streets, the night alive with music and laughter. Jisoo held her hand, his thumb drawing circles on her palm, and Ava felt something in her chest loosen. Something she'd kept locked tight since Taehyun's betrayal. "Thank you," she said as they walked. "For this. For being normal tonight. Thank you for giving me the chance." He stopped walking, turning to face her in the middle of the busy sidewalk, people flowing around them like water around stones. "Ava, I need to tell you something." Her heart skipped. "What?" "I'm falling for you. Fast and hard and completely. And I know it's too soon. I know you need time. But I needed you to know that this isn't a game to me. You're not a conquest or a distraction. You're everything I didn't know I was looking for." Before Ava could respond, his phone buzzed. He ignored it. It buzzed again. And again. "Answer it," Ava said quietly. "It might be important." Jisoo pulled out his phone, his expression darkening as he read the messages. "I have to go. There's a situation that requires my immediate attention. Is everything okay?" "It will be." He cupped her face, his touch gentle despite the tension in his body. "Let me get you home first. I can take the subway. You need to go handle whatever this is." "Ava, I'll be fine." She stood on her tiptoes, pressing a quick kiss to his lips. "Go. Do what you need to do. We'll talk tomorrow." Something fierce and possessive flashed in his eyes. "Tomorrow. I'm holding you to that." He kissed her again, deeper this time, pouring everything unsaid into it. When he pulled away, they were both breathing hard. "Be safe," he murmured against her lips. "Please." Then he was gone, disappearing into the crowd, leaving Ava standing alone on a busy Seoul street, her lips still tingling from his kiss, her heart racing with something that felt dangerously like love. She didn't see the black car that had been following them all evening. Didn't notice when it pulled away from the curb, trailing after Jisoo's vehicle. Didn't sense the danger circling closer with every passing moment. But she would. Soon enough, Ava would learn exactly what it meant to be loved by Park Jisoo. The protection and the danger, the devotion and the violence, the beautiful and terrifying reality of belonging to Seoul's most dangerous man. And by then, it would be too late to run. She'd already fallen, exactly like he'd promised she would. Drop a like if you're invested in this story. And comment, do you think Jisoo can really protect Ava? Or is she walking into danger? Don't forget to subscribe. Ava took the subway home, her mind replaying the evening on an endless loop. The way Jisoo had looked at her across the grill, the casual intimacy of cooking together, the devastating honesty when he'd said he was falling for her. She touched her lips, still feeling the ghost of his kiss, and smiled despite everything telling her this was dangerous. Her phone buzzed. A text from Jisoo, home safe. Situation handled. Thinking about you. Sleep well, beautiful. She replied with a simple heart emoji, then immediately regretted it. Too much too fast. But her phone buzzed again almost instantly. That's the first heart you've sent me. I'm keeping it forever. Ava laughed, shaking her head as she climbed the stairs to her apartment. Maybe Minesio was right. Maybe she was falling too fast, ignoring red flags, letting herself get swept up in the intensity of it all. But God, it felt good to feel something again. To want someone who wanted her back with equal ferocity. She unlocked her door, stepping into the darkness of her apartment. Her hand reached for the light switch. And froze. Someone was sitting in her living room chair. In the exact same position Jisoo had been 2 nights ago. Terror locked her muscles. Her breath stopped. Her mind screamed run, but her body wouldn't cooperate. The figure struck a lighter, the small flame illuminating a face she didn't recognize. An older man, maybe 50, with silver hair and cold eyes. He wore an expensive suit and smiled at her like they were old friends. Hello, Ava. Please come in. Close the door. We need to talk. Get out of my apartment. Her voice shook despite her best efforts. Now, or I'm calling the police. The police won't help you. Not with this. His Korean accented English was precise, educated. My name is Kang Dae-young. I believe you know my nephew, Park Jisoo. Ava's blood turned to ice. Kang. The family Jisoo had mentioned. The ones who'd killed his fiancée. I don't know what you want, but I want you to understand the reality of the situation you've walked into. He gestured to the couch. Please sit. I promise I mean you no harm. Yet, the threat in that last word made her knees weak. Ava's hand was still on the doorknob. She could run, could scream. But something told her this man had planned for those possibilities. How did you get in here? Your locks are surprisingly easy to bypass. You should invest in better security. Though I suppose Jisoo will handle that for you now. He lit a cigarette, completely at ease. Sit, Ava. This won't take long. She moved to the couch on shaking legs, her phone clutched in her hand beneath her purse. If she could just text Jisoo. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Kang nodded toward her purse. The moment you contact Jisoo, this conversation becomes much more complicated. For both of us. What do you want? To give you information. To help you make an informed decision about the man you're falling in love with. He tapped Dash into a dish he'd apparently brought with him. Did Jisoo tell you about Song Min-ah? His fiancée. He said you killed her. He would say that. It's simpler than the truth. Kang leaned forward. Min-ah wasn't killed by my family, Ava. She was killed by Jisoo's own men on his orders. You're lying. Am I? Ask yourself, why would we kill her? She was leverage. A way to control Jisoo, to keep him in line. Dead, she's useless to us. But to Jisoo, a man trying to consolidate power after his father's death, a weak point like Min-ah was dangerous. She wanted him to leave the family business. Wanted a normal life. She was going to the police, planning to testify against him. No. But Ava's voice lacked conviction. She thought of the ice in Jisoo's eyes when he'd talked about destroying the Kang family. The way he'd admitted to being capable of terrible things. He staged it to look like we did it. Gave himself justification for the war he wanted anyway. And sweet, naive Min-ah never saw it coming. Kang stubbed out his cigarette. Now you're the new Min-ah. The pretty distraction. And when you become inconvenient, when you want too much or know too much, you'll end up the same way. If you're trying to scare me away from him, I'm trying to save your life. For the first time, something like genuine concern crossed his face. I have a daughter your age. I know what it's like to see a young woman throw her life away for a man who will destroy her. Jisoo is my nephew, and I loved him once. But the boy I knew died with his father. What's left is something cold and calculating and utterly ruthless. Ava's phone buzzed. A text from Jisoo, are you home? I need to hear your voice. Kang's eyes flicked to her purse. Answer him. Tell him you're fine. Tell him you're going to sleep. And then tomorrow, you pack a bag and you leave Seoul. Go back to America. Forget Park Jisoo exists. And if I don't? Then you'll learn the truth the hard way. And by then, it will be too late. He stood, buttoning his suit jacket. I can protect you, Ava. Give you money to start over. Keep Jisoo from finding you. All you have to do is choose life over whatever fantasy he's sold you. Her phone buzzed again. Ava? Answer me. I'm getting worried. Kong moved to the door. 24 hours. Think about what I've said. Think about Minna. Think about whether you really know the man you're letting into your heart. He paused at the threshold. And Ava? Don't tell Jisoo about this conversation. If he knows I approached you, he'll assume you're working with me. And you don't want to see what he does to people he thinks have betrayed him. Then he was gone, disappearing into the night as silently as he'd appeared. Ava sat frozen on her couch, her mind reeling. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Jisoo calling now, not texting. She answered with trembling hands. Ava, thank God. Are you okay? You weren't responding and I'm fine. The lie tasted bitter. Sorry, I was in the shower. You're sure? You sound off. Just tired. It's been a long day. She forced normalcy into her voice. How did your situation go? Handled. A rival family getting too bold. Nothing for you to worry about. His voice softened. I miss you already. Is that pathetic? A little. But she smiled despite everything. I miss you too. Tomorrow. Have lunch with me tomorrow. I want to see you in daylight, away from restaurants and intensity. Just us, normal, like tonight. Ava thought of Kang's warning. 24 hours. Choose life. But when she opened her mouth, different words came out. Okay. Lunch tomorrow. Sleep well, beautiful. Dream of me. Always. The admission slipped out before she could stop it. After they hung up, Ava sat in her dark apartment for a long time. Kang's words echoed in her mind. Minna killed by Jisoo's own orders. A pattern of women who got too close and paid the price. Choose life over fantasy. But then she remembered Jisoo's vulnerability when he'd talked about being tired. The gentleness in his touch. The way he'd given her space when she asked for it. The man who'd taken her to a casual restaurant because she wanted normal. Was that man capable of killing his own fiancé? Ava pulled out her laptop and searched for Song Minna's death. The articles were sparse. Car accident on a rainy night 2 years ago. Brake failure. No signs of tampering found, but the investigation was cursory at best. No witnesses. No suspects. Just a tragic accident that ended a young woman's life. Or a perfectly executed murder that no one could prove. Her phone rang. Minasio's name on the screen. Hey, Ava answered, grateful for the distraction. Don't hate me. I can feel your anxiety from across the city. What happened? Ava almost told her everything. About Kong breaking into her apartment, about the accusations against Jisoo, about the choice she was being forced to make. But Kang's warning echoed. Don't tell anyone. Nothing happened. I just had a weird day. Liar. But I'll let it slide for now. Minasio's voice gentled. Listen, whatever you're going through, whatever decisions you're facing, I'm here. You're not alone. You know that, right? Tears burned Ava's eyes. I know. Thank you. Get some sleep. Things will look clearer in the morning. But Ava didn't sleep. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, torn between two versions of the truth. Either Jisoo was exactly who he appeared to be, a dangerous man trying to be better for her. Or he was something far worse, a monster wearing a human mask, and she was falling for the performance. By morning, she'd made her decision. She needed to know the truth, whatever it cost her. And there was only one person who could tell her. At noon, Jisoo picked her up for lunch. He looked tired, shadows under his eyes that hadn't been there the night before. But his smile when he saw her was genuine, transforming his entire face. Hi, he said, pulling her into a hug that felt like coming home. Hi. Ava let herself sink into it, memorizing the feel of his arms around her. Just in case this was the last time. They drove to a quiet park, picking up sandwiches from a food truck. Jisoo spread a blanket under a tree, and they sat in dappled sunlight, watching families play and couples walk by. This is nice, Jisoo said, his hand finding hers. Normal. Like we're just two people having lunch. Jisoo, I need to ask you something. And I need you to be completely honest with me. His expression shifted, becoming guarded. Okay. Song Minna. How did she really die? The silence that followed was deafening. Jisoo's hand tightened on hers almost painfully before he released it, putting distance between them. Who told you to ask me that? Does it matter? Yes. His voice was cold now, all warmth evaporating. Because there's only one person who would plant that question in your mind. Kang Daejung came to see you, didn't he? Ava's silence was answer enough. Fuck. Jisoo stood abruptly, pacing away from her. What did he tell you? That I killed her? That she was going to the police and I had her eliminated. Is it true? He spun to face her, his expression raw with pain and fury. No. God, no. I loved Minna. She was everything good in my world, and losing her nearly destroyed me. I spent 2 years hunting down everyone responsible for her death, and I made them suffer in ways that will haunt me forever. He moved closer, dropping to his knees in front of her. But I didn't kill her, Ava. I swear on everything I have, I didn't kill her. Then why would Kong say that? Because he's trying to drive a wedge between us. Because he sees you as my weakness, and he wants to eliminate you the same way his family eliminated Minna. Jisoo's hands framed her face. He's going to offer you money to leave. Protection. He's going to paint me as a monster and himself as your savior. But it's all a lie designed to isolate me, to take away the one thing that makes me vulnerable. And what if he's telling the truth? What if you did kill her and you're lying to me right now? Pain flashed across his face, so stark and genuine that Ava's chest ached. Then I'm the best actor in Seoul. And you should run as far and as fast as you can. He released her, sitting back on his heels. I can't prove a negative, Ava. I can't prove I didn't do something. All I can tell you is the truth as I know it. Minna died because the Kang family wanted to hurt me. I have evidence, surveillance footage, phone records, testimony from a member of their organization who turned on them. It's all locked away in a safe place. I can show you everything. Why didn't you show the police? Because the police are useless against the Kang family. They have judges, prosecutors, cops all on their payroll. The evidence would disappear. Witnesses would recant. And the Kangs would walk free while getting a roadmap of everything I know. His jaw clenched. So I handled it my way. Outside the law. Does that make me a monster? Maybe. But it made sure Minna's killers paid for what they did. Ava studied his face, searching for deception. But all she saw was exhaustion and pain and desperate honesty. Show me the evidence. What? You said you have proof. Show me. Let me decide for myself what's true. Jisoo's eyes searched hers. You'd believe me? Even after Kang's poison? I don't know what to believe. That's why I need to see it. She took his hands. If we're going to do this, if we're going to try to make this work, I need to know exactly who you are. No secrets. No lies. Just the truth, however ugly it is. Something shifted in Jisoo's expression. Relief mixed with determination. Okay, tonight. I'll show you everything. But Ava, once you see it, you can't unsee it. You'll know things that make you complicit. Things that could put you in danger. I'm already in danger. Kong broke into my apartment last night. I'm already part of this whether I want to be or not. Jisoo's entire body went rigid. He was in your apartment? He got that close to you. Rage transformed his features into something terrifying. Did he touch you? Threaten you? He just talked. Tried to convince me to leave Seoul. I'm going to kill him. Jisoo stood, already reaching for his phone. I'm going to find him and I'm going to... No! Ava grabbed his arm. If you do that, you prove him right. You prove that you're the monster he says you are. I am a monster, Ava. When it comes to protecting you, I will absolutely be a monster. Then be my monster. The words came out before she could think them through. Protect me, yes. But don't make me watch you become the thing he accuses you of being. Be better. For me. For us. Jisoo stared at her for a long moment. Then he pulled her into his arms, holding her so tightly she could barely breathe. You're asking me to be something I'm not sure I know how to be. Then learn. With me. We'll figure it out together. His lips found hers, the kiss desperate and claiming. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. Tonight, he said against her mouth. I'll show you everything. And then you decide. Stay or go. Trust me or run. But whatever you choose, you'll make it with full knowledge of who I really am. Okay. Ava kissed him again, softer this time. Tonight. But as they packed up their lunch and walked back to his car, Ava couldn't shake the feeling that tonight would change everything. That once she saw Jisoo's evidence, once she stepped fully into his world, there would be no going back to the simple life she'd had before a wrong number call at 3 in the morning. She was standing at a crossroads. One path led back to safety, to normalcy, to a life where she didn't have to fear shadows and wonder if the man she loved was capable of murder. The other path led deeper into darkness, into a world of violence and secrets and dangerous love. And God help her, she already knew which path she was going to choose. Are you ready for the truth? Hit that subscribe button because the next part reveals everything. Comment below, do you think Jisoo is innocent or guilty? Let me know your theories. And don't forget to like this video if you're as hooked as I am. That evening, Jisoo picked Ava up at 7 sharp. But this time, there was no casual restaurant, no pretense of normalcy. His face was set in grim determination as he held open the car door for her, Sung-ho at the wheel with 2 additional guards in a second vehicle following close behind. Where are we going? Ava asked as they pulled into traffic. Somewhere secure. Somewhere I keep the things that matter most. His hand found hers, squeezing gently. Are you sure you want to do this? Once you see what I'm about to show you, everything changes. I'm sure. They drove for 40 minutes, leaving the glittering heart of Seoul behind for quieter suburbs. Finally, they pulled up to what looked like an ordinary office building, except for the armed guards at every entrance and the sophisticated security cameras tracking their approach. Inside, Jisoo led her to a private elevator that required both a keycard and fingerprint scan. They descended, going down instead of up, the air growing cooler as they traveled deeper underground. This is one of 3 locations where I keep sensitive materials, Jisoo explained as the elevator doors opened onto a sterile hallway. Completely off the grid. No one knows about this place except my most trusted people. He led her to a vault door that looked like something from a bank, entering a complex code before the heavy door swung open with a hydraulic hiss. Inside was a small room lined with filing cabinets and a large table with computer monitors. Everything I'm about to show you is highly illegal for me to possess, Jisoo said, pulling out a chair for her. Some of it was obtained through hacking, some through bribery, some through methods I won't detail. If the authorities knew I had this, I'd be arrested immediately. Then why show me? Because you deserve the truth. And because if something happens to me, someone I trust needs to know where this evidence is. He booted up one of the computers. What do you want to see first? Minna's death. Start there. Jisoo's jaw tightened, but he nodded. He pulled up a series of files, organizing them on the screen. 3 weeks before Minna died, she received her first threat. Someone left a dead bird on her car windshield. She called me terrified. I increased her security, but she hated having guards follow her everywhere. He showed Ava surveillance footage of Minna finding the bird, her face pale with fear. The timestamp was dated 3 weeks before her death. 2 weeks before, they escalated. Someone broke into her apartment while she was at work, trashed the place, left a message on her mirror in lipstick, leave him or die. Jisoo's voice was mechanical, like he disconnected from the emotion of it. Minna wanted to go to the police. I told her it wouldn't help, that it would only make things worse. We fought about it. It was the last real conversation we ever had. He pulled up photos of the apartment. Furniture overturned, drawers emptied, and on the bathroom mirror, those chilling words in red lipstick. 1 week before her death, I received this. He played an audio recording. A distorted voice speaking in Korean, which Jisoo translated. Your woman is living on borrowed time. Every day she wakes up is a gift from us. When we decide the gift is over, she dies. There's nothing you can do to stop it. Ava's skin crawled. Did you recognize the voice? Not then. But later, after Minna died, I had voice analysis done. It matched Kang Minwoo, Daejung's son. Jisoo's hands clenched into fists. He was the one who made the call. He was the one who ordered her death. What happened the night she died? Jisoo took a breath, steadying himself. Minna was supposed to have dinner with her mother. She left my place around 6 p.m. I had 2 guards following her, but they lost her in traffic. She called me at 6:30, said she was fine, almost to her mother's restaurant. That was the last time I heard her voice. He pulled up traffic camera footage, showing Minna's car on a rainy highway. The timestamp read 6:47 p.m. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then her car began to drift, subtle at first, then more erratic. She tried to brake. The brake lights flashed repeatedly, but the car didn't slow. Instead, it accelerated, veering off the highway and down an embankment. Ava watched in horror as the car tumbled, rolling 3 times before coming to rest upside down. Emergency vehicles arrived within minutes, but by then it was too late. The official investigation found brake failure, Jisoo said quietly. Wear and tear. No evidence of tampering. Case closed within a week. He pulled up another file. But I had my own people examine what was left of the car. They found evidence of a sophisticated remote hacking device attached to her car's computer system. Someone hijacked her vehicle remotely, disabled her brakes, and accelerated her into that embankment. The evidence was damning. Photos of the device, still attached beneath the dashboard. Technical specifications showing how it worked. Expert testimony from a cybersecurity specialist detailing exactly how the hack had been executed. I traced the device back to a tech company owned by a shell corporation. It took 6 months, but I finally connected it to the Kang family. Jisoo pulled up financial records, corporate documents, a paper trail that wound through a dozen countries before landing at Kang Daejung's doorstep. This is why I destroyed them. Not for revenge, though God knows I wanted that. But because I had proof they murdered the woman I loved, and no one would help me do anything about it. Ava stared at the screen, her mind reeling. Why didn't you take this to the police? I tried. I went to 3 different prosecutors. All of them told me the evidence was circumstantial, that the Kang family was too powerful to touch without absolute proof, that I should let it go. Jisoo's voice was bitter. So I handled it myself. I found the men who installed the device. I found the person who ordered the hit. I found everyone involved and I made sure they paid. How many people did you kill? 7. The tech who installed the device. The 3 men who surveilled Min-ah to learn her patterns. Kang Min-woo, who made the threatening call. And 2 members of the Kang family who gave the final approval. He met her eyes. I'm not proud of it. But I'd do it again. Every time. Ava's hands were shaking. She'd wanted the truth, and now she had it. Jisoo wasn't innocent. He'd killed 7 people. But they'd murdered his fiancée first, and the system had failed to deliver justice. What about Kang Daejung? Why is he still alive? Because I couldn't prove he gave the direct order. He's careful, always keeps himself at arm's length from the actual violence. And because killing the head of the Kang family would have started an all-out war that would have destroyed both our organizations and killed hundreds of innocent people. Jisoo's expression was grim. So I settled for destroying his power instead. I took his territory, his businesses, his influence. I made him watch as everything he'd built crumbled. For him, that was a worse punishment than death. And now he wants revenge. Yes, by taking you from me. By making me feel what he felt. Jisoo turned his chair to face her fully. That's why he came to you with lies about Min-ah. He wants to drive us apart, make you doubt me, isolate me the way I isolated him. And if he can't convince you to leave voluntarily, he'll kill you. Just like his family killed Min-ah. The words hung heavy in the air. Ava looked at the evidence spread across the screens, the undeniable proof of Jisoo's truth, and made her decision. I believe you. Jisoo's eyes widened. You do. The evidence is clear. Min-ah was murdered by the Kang family. You sought justice when the system failed. And yes, you killed people, which makes you a killer. But it doesn't make you a liar. She took his hands. I believe you, Jisoo. And I'm not going anywhere. The relief that washed over his face was profound. He pulled her into his arms, holding her like she was the only solid thing in a shifting world. Thank you. God, thank you. But we need to talk about Kang Daejung. He's not going to stop. I know. Jisoo pulled back, his expression hardening. Which is why I'm moving you somewhere safer. My penthouse has security, but it's not enough. I have a property outside the city, a compound that's essentially a fortress. You'll stay there with round-the-clock protection until this is resolved. I can't just disappear from my life, Jisoo. I have work, friends, responsibilities. You can work remotely. Your friends can visit under supervision. And your responsibilities don't matter if you're dead. His voice was firm. Please, Ava. Let me protect you. Let me do what I couldn't do for Min-ah. The pain in his voice broke her resistance. Okay, but only temporarily. Once Kong is handled, I want my life back. Once Kong is handled, you can have anything you want. He kissed her forehead. Thank you for trusting me. They left the vault, Jisoo securing everything behind them. On the drive back to the city, Ava's mind was racing. She'd crossed a line tonight. She knew things now that made her complicit in Jisoo's world. If the police ever questioned her, she'd have to lie or betray the man she was falling in love with. What are you thinking? Jisoo asked, his thumb stroking the back of her hand. That I've officially lost my mind. 24 hours ago, I was considering running back to America. Now I'm agreeing to hide in your fortress while you wage war with a rival crime family. You can still run. I meant what I said about giving you a choice. I know, but I'm choosing to stay. She looked at him. I'm choosing you, Jisoo. For better or worse. The smile that transformed his face was worth every risk she was taking. For better or worse. I like the sound of that. They arrived back at Ava's apartment to pack her things. Jisoo insisted on going in first, checking every room, every closet, every possible hiding place. Only when he was satisfied it was safe did he let her enter. Ava packed quickly, throwing clothes and essentials into a suitcase while Jisoo stood watch. As she was zipping up the bag, her phone rang. Minacio. Hey, Ava answered, trying to sound normal. Don't hate me. Where have you been? I've been calling all day. Minacio's voice was tight with worry. Tell me you're not doing something stupid with that Mafia guy. Ava glanced at Jisoo, who was watching her with knowing eyes. Define stupid. Oh my god. Ava, please tell me you're not moving in with him. Okay, I'm not moving in with him. You're lying. I can hear it in your voice. Minacio's frustration was palpable. Listen to me. I know you think you love him. I know he's probably amazing and protective and makes you feel things you've never felt. But this is dangerous. People in his world don't get happy endings. They get dead. I know the risks, Minacio. But I'm doing this anyway. Why? What could possibly be worth risking your life? Ava looked at Jisoo, at the man who'd shown her his darkest secrets, who'd been vulnerable and honest even when it painted him in the worst light. Because for the first time in my life, someone sees all of me. The good, the bad, the scared, the strong. And he loves me anyway. That's worth fighting for. Minacio was quiet for a long moment. If you die, I'm going to be so mad at you. If I die, you have my permission to say I told you so at my funeral. That's not funny. I know. I'm sorry. Ava's voice softened. I love you. And I promise I'll be careful. But I need to do this. Then at least stay in touch. Text me every day. Let me know you're alive. I will. I promise. After she hung up, Jisoo pulled her into his arms. Good friends are rare. She loves you. I know. And I'm asking her to trust that I know what I'm doing, even though I'm terrified I don't. You're not alone in this. Whatever happens, we face it together. He kissed her, soft and sweet. Ready to go? As ready as I'll ever be. They left Ava's apartment, her old life packed into 2 suitcases and a carry-on bag. As Jisoo loaded her things into the car, Ava took one last look at the building that had been her home for 18 months. She was leaving behind simplicity, safety, the comfortable routines of a normal life. And walking towards something dangerous and uncertain and terrifyingly real. The compound was an hour outside Seoul, hidden behind tall walls and dense forest. Guards checked them at 3 separate checkpoints before they finally pulled up to a sprawling modern house that looked more like a luxury resort than a fortress. This is where you're staying? Ava asked, stunned by the beauty of it. This is where we're staying, Jisoo corrected. I'm not leaving you here alone. Where you go, I go. Until you're safe. Inside, the house was even more impressive. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked a private lake. The interior was warm and inviting, nothing like the cold penthouse in the city. It felt like a home. The master bedroom is upstairs, Jisoo said, carrying her bags. But there are guest rooms if you'd prefer your own space. Ava looked at him, at this man who was willing to append his entire life to keep her safe. Show me the master bedroom. Something hot and possessive flashed in his eyes. Ava, I want to stay with you. In your room. In your bed. She moved closer, her hands sliding up his chest. No more separate rooms. No more pretending this is anything other than what it is. And what is it? His voice was rough, his control clearly fraying. Love. Messy, complicated, dangerous love. She pulled his face down to hers. I love you, Park Jisoo. And I'm tired of fighting it. The kiss that followed was explosive. Jisoo dropped her bags, his hands tangling in her hair as he backed her against the wall. Say it again, he demanded against her lips. I love you. Again. I love you, you controlling, dangerous, wonderful man. He groaned, lifting her. Her legs wrapped around his waist as he carried her up the stairs, never breaking the kiss. They tumbled onto the bed in a tangle of limbs and desperate touches. I love you, Jisoo said, his hands framing her face as he looked down at her. From that first phone call, I think I loved you. The fire in your voice, the way you didn't back down. You've changed everything for me. Then show me. Show me what it means to be loved by you. What followed was tender and fierce, passionate and reverent. Jisoo learned every inch of her body, memorizing what made her gasp, what made her arch into his touch. Ava discovered the man beneath the monster, the gentle lover hidden under the dangerous exterior. When they finally lay tangled together, breathless and satisfied, Ava felt a completeness she'd never experienced before. Like all the broken pieces of herself had finally found where they belonged. No regrets? Jisoo asked, his fingers tracing patterns on her bare shoulder. None. You. My only regret is that I didn't dial your number on purpose from the start. He kissed her temple. Best wrong number I ever called. Best wrong number I ever answered. They fell asleep wrapped in each other, the danger temporarily forgotten in the safety of each other's arms. But outside, in the darkness beyond the compound walls, Kang Daejong was planning his next move. The war between the Park and Kong families was about to reach its bloody conclusion. And Ava, the woman who'd answered a wrong number and stolen a Mafia king's heart, was at the center of it all. But she wasn't afraid anymore. Because love, she'd learned, wasn't about safety. It was about choosing someone and fighting for them, consequences be damned. And she'd chosen Park Jisoo, with all his darkness and all his light. For better or worse. Till death do them part. And in Jisoo's world, that vow meant something very different than it did in hers. It meant blood and violence and protection at any cost. It meant standing together against enemies who wanted them destroyed. It meant loving fiercely enough to survive anything. As dawn broke over the compound, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold, Ava woke in Jisoo's arms and knew with absolute certainty that whatever came next, they would face it together. The wrong number had led her to exactly the right place. If you made it this far, you're as obsessed with this story as I am. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and drop a comment telling me what you think happens next. Because trust me, this story isn't over yet. Subscribe now and I'll see you in the next story. Thank you for watching, and remember, sometimes the best love stories start with a mistake. This is your girl signing off. Until next time.